So it's always an interesting thing when somebody has a negligent discharge, and let me tell you, they happen a lot. So we got an interesting story today, and honestly, I'm just confused by the entire situation. I'm gonna try to bring some perspective to it, but there was a Colorado councilman by the name of Brent Metz. It's a pretty crazy story. Let's start with this.
Councilman for the small town of Mountain View is accused of shooting a teenager in the face on that councilman's property.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch is at the Jeffco Sheriff's Office. And Janelle, they say these kids shot, one of them, were looking for a place to take homecoming photos.
Kim and Kyle, deputies are trying to figure out how this escalated so quickly. They say the boys were doing something harmless when the homeowner pulled a gun on them. Now that man is facing criminal charges for shooting a boy in the face.
So I gotta be honest with you, this story doesn't sound complete. It sounds like there is a lot missing, and there's a lot to unpack on this. So let me start with the stuff that sounds off. I've lived out in the country for a while, and people don't do this. I've never heard of it. Now this is in Texas, so I don't have experience in Colorado, but I have never, ever had a person drive all the way down my driveway, which is about a quarter mile, or rather hop my fence, walk all the way to my door just to see if they can take pictures or whatever. If they're gonna take pictures, take a picture. If you already hop my fence, you're already in my field, take a picture and leave. Why would you wait around to see what I'm gonna do? Doesn't make that much sense on that end. The second point to that is, if you're out in the country, there are a lot of places that are not privately owned property to where you could take pictures. Do it outside of his property line. Pull your car over, take some pictures. At that point, you're not trespassing. Now, trespassing is an interesting word. For me, I take it very serious. If there is a sign and I have a property line and you come onto it, you better have a very good reason, or I better know you. Otherwise, to me and to the people I know, it is a very serious thing. It's not something where we're like, oh, you can just ignore my signs, come onto my property, hang out, whatever. Now, that being said, if somebody goes onto your property and then gets off of your property and is sitting in their vehicle, like this situation, they're no longer trespassing. They trespassed, but they're not actively trespassing. So the law in Colorado doesn't apply. The Make My Day law, where it's, if you're on my property, I can shoot you legally, it has to be active. It can't just be, oh, well, you were on my property 45 days ago, so now I can come to your house and shoot you legally. No. Ladies and gentlemen, Blackout Coffee just came out with their cold brew cans, and we're gonna do a little taste test right now. Starting with the cold brew latte. Wow, that's good. Tastes like a chocolate milkshake with coffee. And then we've got the cold brew blueberry. It's an interesting mixture. Let's see. Wow, I can't decide which one I like better. Those are amazing. They also got brand new merch. There's gonna be a link and code below the video. Go pick up a pack of these. They're fantastic.
A picture-perfect setting. That's what two teen boys saw when they pulled up to this home in Conifer on Tuesday afternoon.
This isn't an easy one to figure out why this equaled that.
Jackie Kelly says Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies are baffled. How did looking for a place to take homecoming pictures result in a boy being shot in the face?
They parked the car at the gate to the property. They did go over a fence and walked to the home and knocked. They wanted to talk to the homeowner and see if they could get permission to take photos there.
She says no one was home.
They walked back to their car and started writing a note to the homeowners, asking again for permission to take photos for homecoming. While they were writing their note, a black truck pulled up.
Kelly says Brent Metz, the homeowner, was driving that truck. He got out and fired a shot through the windshield. A single round hitting the 17-year-old in the face.
Once again, the story really isn't adding up, and I'm excited to hear more of the evidence come out. I seriously doubt a councilman would have just went up to a vehicle without saying anything, without having any sort of threat, just shoot somebody through a windshield. Doesn't make really any sense. Do y'all think they were making an excuse as far as, oh, we wanted to come take pictures? Or were they over there to possibly steal from him, possibly rob him, and it didn't work out for them, so they went back to their vehicle and made up that they were there to take pictures? No one really knows, but I think we kind of learned a good lesson from this on a couple of different angles. One, if there are signs posted that says do not trespass, you should probably respect them. People don't mess around with that stuff. People take their land and their hard-earned work serious, and if you completely disobey their sign, they may not be happy, and depending on the day, they may act. The second thing would be if you want to take pictures on somebody's land, or you want a cup of sugar or something like that, if their front door is not super close to the public street, you probably shouldn't do it. The reason why I say that is because it is a long, long walk to their door. And unless you know them, just from the psychological standpoint of what I would think, you're taking a lot of time just to come up and talk to me. But I wanted to end with this last thing. So this guy, he said that his gun just went off, which if he has an old SIG P320, that's a fair analysis. No, I'm joking.
The affidavit shows one of the teens heard Metz say, "Oh, my gun went off."
There's nothing that we know of yet that made sense for him to step out of his car, point a gun at these two juveniles and fire a weapon.
A picture-perfect setting, now marked by violence.
Guys, guns don't just go off. They don't. You gotta drop it. You gotta have your finger on the trigger, pull it. Now, it is possible for the guy to have drawn the weapon and used it as like an intimidation factor and just had his finger on the trigger and it went off and that was it. But that part, I just don't buy. But we'll see what happens with this.